What's good, y'all? I'm super hyped to get into the awesome Avalugg buffs and changes for this hack. Keep in mind, I want to have a quick disclaimer. None of these buffs and changes are intended for competitive play whatsoever. These are all balanced for in-game. It's a ROM hack, all right? It's not Pokemon Showdown. This is all literally any of these buffs and changes will be absolutely unreasonable in a competitive setting. I balance every single Pokemon to have two viable abilities that they can switch between with an infinite usability capsule. Every single move for the most part is buffed or changed with a couple of exceptions, but 600 plus moves are buffed or changed, and you can check those out in a very, very detailed, in-depth, easy to navigate move guide on the Google Sheet in the description. Give that a look. Don't just use the videos as a guide to Pokemon buffs. You are going to want to look at the Google Sheet. It's a much more efficient way of doing that, in my opinion. Of course, I appreciate you watching. Please keep the views coming. I'm just saying, for moves especially, you're going to want to check out that Google Sheet. Not to mention the older Pokemon buffs are kind of outdated. But yeah, Avalugg, Semi-pseudo. If you're new here, you know what this is already. Sorry, if you're not new here, you already know what this is. But if you are new here, Semi-pseudo is something I call 575 base that total Pokemon. Base that total was very arbitrary in this hack. I've already put a lot of thought and care into making every single Pokemon viable, regardless if they're 480 base that total, 515, 525, 535, 550, whatever it is. They're all great. They're all usable for the entire game and very viable and fun to use, and they all have their own unique tools that they can use. I try to keep them from overlapping with Pokemon of the same type combo. In Avalugg's case, he actually does overlap with Resilient with Regice, but I don't think I think that's kind of cool if anything, because him and Regice are like literal polar opposites. But yeah, before I get into the other semi-pseudo legendaries and why I chose that for Avalugg, I want to explain Regenerator, because people might think that I'm just forcing that on a Pokemon because like, oh, it's bulky, give it Regenerator, because why not? No, there's actual flavor here. Because if Regenerator didn't fit, I'd probably just give it like, I don't know, I mean, I'd probably like Refrigerator or something. But look, if you read the Pokedex, it talks about as Avalugg moves about during the day, the cracks in its body deepen. The Pokemon's body returns to a pristine state. Pristine? Why do I say it like that? Pristine state overnight. Beautiful. That's all you need, really, in my opinion, for Regenerator. Not to mention they did learn Recover naturally by level up, and that enough is like logic for Regenerator in a lot of cases, in my opinion, because in vanilla and also technically in this hack, Recover is like regenerating yourself, kind of. It's basically like the same logic as Regenerator. So yeah, awesome ability for Avalugg. Entry hazards are not a factor in-game. T-Spikes, I will use that against you, but other than T-Spikes, Stealth Rocks are pretty much never going to be a thing. If there's ever a boss fight that uses Stealth Rocks against you, it's kind of like a meme, because at the end of the day, it's not the same thing as competitive play. Obviously, entry hazards are critical and in competitive, but that's not what this is balanced for, so you don't have to worry about entry hazards, so that's great for Avalugg. As for why I made them a semi-pseudo, so there's tons of new pseudos, even two-stage Pokemon that are pseudos, for example, Steelix, Gyarados, Wailord, Milotic, Golurk, and then there are 575 base that total three-stage Pokemon. There's 11 of those right now, and then there are a bunch of two-stage 575 base that total Pokemon, and even one stage. There is Tropius and Druddigon, and there will be even more that are single stage. As for 575, though, there is Arcanine, both Exeggutors, Camerupt, Abomasnow, Volcarona, and now Avalugg. Base that total 575, semi-pseudo, two stages is kind of arbitrary. I just kind of pick and choose unless it really fits, like in Arcanine's case or Volcarona's case. But for like Camerupt and Abomasnow, it's because they're bulky mixed attackers. In Avalugg's case, though, it's because he's the fucking GOAT. I don't know. I just fucking like Avalugg, man. I think that the stats fit really well. It's funny because I even ended up, I didn't have to drop special attack for more bulk, but I really like Avalugg, man. I don't know. And as you can see on screen, yes, Ice type is buffed. So I didn't, one of my friends was asking me to make an Ice Dragon, but I don't really like that too much. I don't think it needs a dual type. I think Pure Ice is a great typing now because you resist Ground, Flying, Dragon, and Ice. So those are 4 great resistances now. Super, super great, especially those Ground and Flying. Dragon is, you might be thinking, oh, why'd you nerf Dragon? Dragon's already not that good offensively. And you'd be fair to think that in a vacuum, but Dragon moves in this hack are pretty crazy. All of them are really strong. Dragon types are really strong. And Dragon Fang gives a free 30% boost, so it's like Life Orb but for Dragon moves. So I think that, making Ice be able to check Dragons even better, switch in on a Dragon type move and kill that Dragon, that's a good spot for Ice type to be in. Same goes for Ground and Flying. Avalugg, though, yeah, stat-wise, absolute GOAT. I try to base HP more on size now, so he does have a 116 base HP stat because he's this giant iceberg. So 116, 184, 81 bulk with Regenerator is pretty crazy. Resilient, if you're new here, you don't know what this does, and you haven't checked out that Google Sheet, by the way, seriously, after you're done watching this video, give it a look. Click that link. I'm serious. There's so much cool stuff on there. Please give it a look. It took me a lot of effort. It took me a lot of effort to make this, so it would be nice if people actually used it. Resilient, sick ability. That is just the same thing as like Solid Rock and Filter, so it reduces super effective damage. So Steel, Fighting, fire, and rock. I believe those are your only weaknesses, right? Steel, fire, fighting rock. Those only deal 1.5x damage to you. Coming off of your incredible bulk, you're absolutely swallowing even special hits with Assault Vest. Assault Vest is a great item on Avalugg. You do have access to great offensive moves. You have Ice Shard for priority. You have Avalanche, which is 150 base power effectively now. The only downside is that you have to get hit first. Obviously, you're going to be moving last in most cases anyway, so that the negative priority doesn't matter. But that's 75 base power, so that doubles if you get hit. And then you have Icicle Crash, which is just 110 base power, 90% accuracy. And then Ice Fang is really great as well, 75 base power, and that's your stat for most of the game until you get to 43, which is, that's like probably about 2/3 throughout the game. Yeah, about 2/3 about through the game is when you'll get Icicle Crash, which is a very strong move. And you're bulkier, so missing doesn't matter as much for you. If you're a fast fill attacker and you miss and it Nuzlocke, you're dead. If you miss with Avalugg, it's just kind of annoying. It might still cause you a death, but it's not as big a deal, especially when you have Regenerator, so you can just swap out. It's more forgiving if you miss. So Icicle Crash is definitely worth it for the power in this case, but not always. I wouldn't say for fast draw Pokemon. You'd probably rather have an Ice Punch if they get it or something. But Icebreaker, great move. Icebreaker is also sick, especially with Regenerator. You're actually so bulky that you don't have to run Power Herb. You can just click raw Icebreaker. Icebreaker has 140 base power. It comes from Freeze Shock, so essentially it's 140 base power and it always crits. So it's effectively over 200 base power, which is incredibly powerful. That's Z move level of power. With a Power Herb, it's literally just a Z move that doesn't take up your Z move slot, and it always paralyzes, which is decent in game. It's not as relevant to paralyze things. It's not like spreading status is that crucial because the AI only switches out with switch moves. So you're not like spreading paralysis throughout the game. It's just that one Pokemon is paralyzed now, which is still useful. Then you can parting shot into your ally, for example, and outspeed them. But yeah, you can do raw Icebreaker. You don't need Power Herb because of how bulky you are. So that's a good option. Great coverage moves. You have Wave Crash with Regenerator. You have other recoil moves like Play Rough, Rock Climb, and Takedown with Regenerator. Also, in terms of the usability for both your abilities, they're both pretty great. I always try to make it so that both abilities have a use case that you can ability capsule and switch between the two. In Resilience case, it's very useful. You can use Weakness Policy Resilient and just Avalanche and blow something up. You can use Ice Shard, Weakness Policy Resilient. You can just flat out use Resilient to live a specific hit and then kill that Pokemon. Say you're doing a Nuzlocke, which is kind of what this is balanced around somewhat. You switch your Pokemon in. Oh shit, I need my Avalugg. You look at the Pokemon's, the trainer sheets. You're like, oh, my Avalugg needs to take a certain hit from a certain Pokemon. It doesn't live it with Regenerator, and I actually don't need Regenerator because the only Pokemon my Avalugg needs to fight that boss fight is this one specific Pokemon on their team. All right, now Resilient is better then because you take less damage from that super effective hit, potentially living it if it's like a strong special hit, for example. Physical hits, you're living no matter what. Look at it, its bulk is crazy. And like I said, Assault Vest is great too on Regenerator. But then with Resilient with like Recover or just Regenerator with Recover is great as well. You do have other reliable healing move methods, less reliable as in Recover, but still reliable in the form of, well, of course, Regenerator. Parting Shot is beautiful. Parting Shot is a very common TM that I give to a lot of Pokemon. It might seem weird in a vacuum, but again, you got to check out the other Pokemon. And that's really good for Avalugg because he's slow, so he's like a great bulky pivot that you could just switch in, slow Parting Shot out, and drop the opponent's attacking stats, which is very useful in a hack where everything is really strong. Very, very nice to have bulky stuff like this. And yeah, Avalugg's also he's 132 attack. He's very strong. I think that fits his design very well as well. Again, given the power levels of this hack, I just think it's really cool. A little bit of favoritism. I just like Avalugg a lot, and he was pretty shit, so it's pretty cool to make him a GOAT. In all types of different ways, the moves, the abilities, the stats, the typing buff with the type chart and stuff. Good coverage, Psychic Fang, Thunder Fang, Earthquake. The recoil moves are specifically, like I said earlier, are great with Regenerator. Health Thrust, Zen Headbutt, Liquidation before you get Wave Crash. It's just got a lot of awesome moves. Counter Mirror Coat, especially great for totems. I was going to say earlier with the healing moves, you have Stockpile and Swallow. So Stockpile will give you the same effect as it usually does, but Swallow is buffed. So if you only have one Stockpile boost, Swallow is always priority, no matter what. Swallow's a priority move now, and it heals you 100% HP no matter what. So if you Stockpile once, I should get them Roar. I'll put that on 48 just in time for the Z move. I'll put Roar there. I forgot to give them that. Roar is priority now, 3 PP, so that's pretty great, and the Z effect also gives an attack boost, which is basically guaranteed for free. So that's pretty cool with like Ice Shard and stuff. But yeah, I love Avalugg. Priority Haze is awesome as well to phase Pokemon out. The AI can use it against you as well, just to stop you from setting up and sweeping. He's one of the few physical attackers that doesn't get first impression, just because I just don't really see him using that. But Ice Shard's still very good, and obviously that fits. Man, I just love the design and the vibe that he gives. Yeah, all kinds of really awesome tools. I think I'm just gonna try to leave the video off there. I don't want to go off for too long, but yeah, heavy slime's very strong. Stockpile Swallow's great. Haze is great. Rapid Spin is not good in game at all. You would never run this. It's just for flavor and for the eventual showdown server, which is gonna be a meme anyways. It's not gonna be competitive whatsoever. It's just gonna be for fun. But yeah, I'll leave the video off there. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully, if this hack seems interesting to you and you just clicked on this video or you saw it and you recommended, definitely make sure you check out everything else in that Google Sheet. Check out my other videos, all that fun stuff. Let me know what you think down below, and I really do appreciate you listening this far into the video. Matter of fact, leave a comment down below. Just comment something down below that lets me know you listened this far into the video. I appreciate that. Peace, everyone.